So I've got a collection of water I've stored, and this has been in storage since 2024. This was sanitized for storage with 1 tablespoon of, well, hold on, let me show you the bottle. NSF grade sodium hypochlorite. So the NSF grade being important because this is going to be something you might drink in an emergency situation. So don't use like Clorox from for cleaning clothes, especially something with fragrances in it, unless you want to put that in your body. So this is what we use to sterilize these. Freshly opened bottle. It obviously looks clear, not foggy at all. It smells a bit like chlorine, and I'm going to run some tests on it here on video. And from working with pools and stuff, I have this little tiny bottle that's clean I use for pulling samples of potable water. In this case, this is a brand new one. And I used it to draw up some water, and I'm going to do a chlorine and free chlorine test here, and we're going to see what it looks like. All right, we're going to add 5 drops of solution 1 per instructions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is very chlorinated. I'll go ahead and do a tip here in a second. Been setting since 2024. All right, and we're going to give that about 60 seconds. So what we're looking for is the free chlorine. So free chlorine right now is 3. That should be a good reading. I think that's about a, well, maybe closer to a 2. You tell me in the comments, what do you feel like that is? The color on this camera doesn't do justice. Look at it from the side here. Feels like more of a 2. Alright, we're going to give that a second. Watching the thing here. I'm going to pause and we'll come back here in about 2 minutes and we'll see what residual chlorine is since 2024 in the sealed container here. Well, that's good news. Chlorine level's still holding stable. So, you know, it's pretty heavily chlorinated. It smells like if you ever had a tank truck deliver water to a clean cistern out somewhere where you can't get a well, it smells a bit like this. This is pretty heavily chlorinated, but it's going to stay clean. You can always boil off chlorine, unlike chloramide, so you've got that benefit. If you really didn't like the odor of the chlorine and you had potable water, you could at least boil it to get rid of the chlorine smell. Let's go ahead and check pH on this since it's been sitting here for a couple of years. Alright, and we're going to have to add 1 drop of solution 4. This is a chlorine neutralizer. Might do 2. There's a lot of chlorine in this, so we'll go ahead and flip this guy over here. Okay. And then, close this up here. And then we're going to use our pH indicator, and we're going to do 5 drops of that, phenol red. What do you think for pH? Okay, 5 drops of phenol red in. And we're going to give it a little swish swish. Thinking that's about 7.8. It's pretty. It's got a pretty high pH on this. I wonder if that wasn't enough to neutralize the chlorine. Let's see if that chlorine neutralizer is going to work with this much chlorine in it. I'm just curious because we could be getting a false pH reading with that. So let's just see real quick. I wonder how chlorinated this is. We're going to add a drop of this chlorine neutralizer in here. Let's give it a little rotate in here to see what happens. Oh no, 1 drop was enough. Okay. Alright, that completely neutralized the chlorine. Okay, so that's working fine. I've had a test kit before where that was sus, so that's good to know. Nice. Oh, I wasn't expecting the pH to be that high. Less than ideal, obviously. I'm going to check the overall pH and just put a drop on this test strip here. Okay, maybe more than just a drop. I'll let that set for a second. Let me bring the camera up here. We'll take a look at the litmus paper versus what we're actually seeing. The camera, once again, color on camera is kind of garbage, but I think this is probably more true than the pool test kit. We're probably at an 8. It's hard to tell on camera. 7 or an 8, according to this. Obviously, pool water is a bit more sensitive to pH levels, but a 7 or an 8, that's still perfectly fine for drinking. Yeah. So litmus a bit more accurate than that. So this is fresh litmus paper. The pool test kit's well, it's a pool test kit, so yeah, it is what it is. But this is good. So I put a little bit in a shot glass. I used the spray bottle to spray it in so it would oxygenate it. A big thing about water that's been stored for this long is you want to bubble it up to make it taste better. I'm gonna take a quick swig of this and see how it tastes. Well, it has a very displeasing plastic taste. Ugh, not surprising. Been in storage for a bit too long. So this is a reason you should check your supplies, check your samples. Going from 2024 to now, I think it's a bit long to keep potable water. The taste is definitely off-putting. It tastes like plastic, and that's an NSF container. So, you know, it goes without saying. Like, obviously, you do need to cycle your water out. So, I'm curious if you boil it, if it would retain the taste, but I don't really care enough. I just want to make a YouTube video on like sort of checking out your long-term water storage and ensuring that it's up to snuff. I probably won't let this go as long again and store it, you know, for a year plus without rotating, because it definitely does alter the flavor, and possibly it's because this is a brand new bottle. On the next loadout, I'm wondering if the flavor profile will change on the next cycle of water I put in these, where it won't taste as plasticky. It's a bit like when you have something in a can too long, it tastes tinny. That water kind of tastes like the plastic now, and it's probably also because the chlorine's been attacking this bottle for over a year. So anyhow, the 1 tablespoon of sodium hypochlorite to water suggestion was provided by numerous health agencies. You can go Google that. There were a couple for a couple universities had that. I'll link the documents in the video. But anyhow, figures to be a cool video. I'm going to dump all these out. I'm going to fill them back up, add sodium hypochlorite back to them, and then store them back again for, you know, bad times if we ever have them. See you later. I just realized when making this video, every time I was saying 2024, I should have been saying 2023. This was packaged in September of 2023 and is currently April of 2025. So this water's been in there a bit. Hence the displeasurable smell. So generally between a year and 6 months, I think, is what most people recommend. And I was curious how it would survive these NSF containers sterilized with the bleach, basically, sodium hypochlorite. And it is, it's off-putting. The smell is not bad, but like the taste is plasticky. It's gross. Obviously, I didn't even want to drink it. I was like, I'll just pour it out. But this is why you should check your long-term storage, but check your inventory, go through it. Also, for anyone who suggests drinking water bottles, that's even worse. So you want to have something that's long-term shelf stable, but you got to find that balance, containers and everything else. And if you got ideas in the comments, feel free to put them down there. I'm always interested to hear how other people are doing this. Back again. Here I am talking on the camera and not paying attention to what I'm saying. You can tell I don't use a script. It was 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons of water, according to all the resources I found online for emergency management, preparedness, and all this stuff from university or government sources. So it's 5 ml of that stuff per 5 gallons of this stuff. So got my little graduated cylinder here. We'll measure some out. We'll refill these. I'm going to rinse them out thoroughly with, you know, nice water from the shower head. And then we'll get them filled up, and we'll add this, and then store them again. And if you got one of these nice shower heads with a wand, I always just unscrew the end and use that for the cleaning and filling of the bottles. So I'm going to work on that now and get these things filled up. I'm doing a good fill and triple of rinse on each one of these, but you can see, just holding the hose here, it's quite easy to hold this and the camera at the same time, this nice confined beam of water, and fill her on up. All right, here's our concentrated bleach solution, and thanks to the magic of the lighting in here, you can't really tell it's a nice dingy yellow color with white balance on the camera. All right. Gonna suck a little bit up here, and we're gonna add 5 ml into this. Pay mine to the Aminiskis. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, a little bit more. A drop or two more. Boop. There we go. There we go. That'll work. We're going to pour that on in and have this thing be sterilized for long-term storage. Start with a tank in the back. And it goes. Let's measure out another 5 ml. Perfect. And do the tank in front. A much better way to do this was to hold them upside down with one hand, spray water up inside around them and clean them out, and then set them all aside. Then lay them all one to one here, and then put 5 mils in each one, and then I'm going to fill each one with a wand and be done. And one swoop and finish all 4 of these, so 5, 10, 15, 20 gallons right there, right? I'll do that real quick. So I just used some Avery 18160 address labels. I printed off a whole bunch to have these for later. And I label right here. So these, you can buy new caps, depending on how anal you are about things. These have a one-time use anti-backing lock ring, and once you undo them with a bung wrench, it busts off the first time. So the first time these were just sealed, but there's no need to buy new caps. I think it's a waste. We don't need to add more plastic to this world, right? So just get an address label and stick it across. It can be sort of your tamper evident, because if you peel this off, it's going to break, or let's be honest, it's in my basement. I'm not worried about it. You probably are the same. Like, there's no need to have this with an anti-back off nut. You're not shipping it. So I'm going to put these in storage and in my refrigerated cellar, and then have them just in case the tornado comes through and does something bad. I was thinking about the fact I didn't mention earlier why you'd have water like this, but if you look at what happened in like Asheville, earlier this year with that big storm and them being out of water and power, you don't ever think, I'm not too far away from Joplin where the tornadoes hit, and you don't want to be in a situation without potable water. It's the one thing you can figure out food with your pantry alone. I have tons of storage as well, but if you just got your pantry, as long as you got potable water and a campfire stove, you can figure out quite a bit. So save yourself some water. It's cheap. Buy these NSF grade containers, and you saw how we did this. It wasn't complicated, so store some water. It's a good idea. Bye.